everyone tonight. We're excited to have you here, and we're excited to be back with our Saberwing Nature Tours virtual program series. I've been having a lot of fun hosting our guides from around the world to talk about their countries and the wonderful birds and places that you can go. And tonight I'm really excited to welcome Edison Buenano from Ecuador. Edison and I have been working together for quite a few years now. Edison's a top guide in Ecuador, runs fantastic trips down there, and we're excited to have such a great partner in that country. We're excited to tell you all about this the incredible country of Ecuador this evening as well. If you want to ask any questions during the presentation, please go ahead and type them in as chat, and I will try to ask Edison as we go. If we don't get to anything, we will have a question and answer session at the end as well. So if it doesn't quite fit in right when we're talking, I'll catch those questions at the end as well. So to get started, I'm going to turn it over to Edison, and he's going to start off the program. Also, if you can make sure you're muted, that would be great. As Edison gets the screen share going here.
Come on, babe. Come on.
All right. Coming across, Edison?
I can share it, but it doesn't work. Let's see this one.
You can tell our testing this yesterday didn't do us any bit of good, did it?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I am doing the same thing that I did yesterday. Okay.
You should have a little share screen thing down at the bottom, Edison.
Yes, I am working with that.
If you click that, you should be able to click whichever screen you want, and then hit share on the bottom right. There we go.
Okay. Can you see the screen well?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start. You know, like Rob said, so I am from Ecuador. I am doing this for 23 years now. I am 44. So I got my degree at the university in tourist manager, and then I am a bird guide. So I specialize that. I start with the Andean condor because the Andean condor is our symbol bird. You will see the condor in the flag. So basically, the meaning of the Andean condor is the power of the greatness. So that's why we choose to put on our flag. Ecuador is the size of the Colorado. So Ecuador has 283,560 kilometers square. But the biodiversity, I just put one for South America, and you will see the size of Ecuador. If we're going to compare with our neighbors, Colombia, Peru, and of course, you know, Brazil is another country I call in South America. So why is the biodiversity high in Ecuador? One of the highest diversity in Ecuador is by the Andes, because the Andes divided in three regions, the west, the central, and the east. Our tree is focused in the west side, a little part of the Central Valley that we will visit Antisana Reserve. I will show you later. And the eastern side, so that included the Paramo, cloud forest, and the foothills. The biodiversity in Ecuador represents that 8% of the animal species is in Ecuador. We have about 350 species of reptiles, 4,500 species of butterflies, and of course, Ecuador has #1 in orchids. We have 4,232 species. The mega diversity countries, you know, Colombia is very famous. Colombia has now almost 2,000 species of birds, and then is following by Peru with 18,032 species. Brazil is also with close to 18,000, and then is Ecuador. Right now, Ecuador has 1,692 species. So that means represent the 60 or close to the 70% of the biodiversity, talking about birds, you know, 60% of the birds on this planet. Ecuador is not a country that you will see so many endemics, but we have 7 Ecuadorian endemics plus 32 endemics of Galapagos, 70 endemics of the Chocó region, 60 Tumbesian forest endemics, and 110 species that is very restricted to the Napo area or the Napo River in the lowlands. This is a little map of the Northwest, because our trip with Rob, we focus in the Northwest, that our base is going to be Mindo. So from here, from Mindo, we have a day trips going to Gualea, there is a Los Bancos, Pedro Vicente, Yanacocha is close to here to Quito. We focus 1 week here. My personal list in the Northwest is about 742 species. From the high elevation, that is Yanacocha, that is about 10,500 feet to 300 feet. That will be in Esmeraldas province, far of the Chocó area in the Northwest. You know, everybody loves to see this sword-billed hummingbird. That's amazing. This is the birds that you find in the high elevation in the Andes region. You will see from Venezuela through Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia. That is most of the countries. But right now in Ecuador, we have a new reserves like Yanacocha Reserve that is in the highest part of the Northwest, close to the volcano Pichincha, where we will see at the feeders. And right now is another reserve close to that area that is called Suroloma. So in Suroloma is really nice because a part of these beautiful hummingbirds that we will see in the mountains, we will see these chestnut snake pampitas. You know, Angel Paz is a legend because they start feeding some ampitas, but right now all the reserve that they have these species, they are feeding right now. So for us it's really good because we can see really well. This species is really hard to see. Usually we hire more than seen, but right now with these people start doing some ecotourism for the local economy is great because probably I am guessing all the birds there we will stop to watch these birds. And of course, look at this is one of my favorite birds. Look, who loves to see this ocellated tapaculo like that, you know? I have seen the tapaculo, this one, you know, but sometimes just a little bit of glimpses of this species. But right now also we can see this bird really well. So I am happy these people are working and they start working in this pandemic. So, and they are very successful now. Let me see this. This is the way probably we used to see this tapaculo. Just a little bit, you know? So that's why we hear more than sing. Okay, so this Blue Mountain toucan, this is the bird that we have only in Ecuador and Colombia, basically in the southwest Colombia and northwest Ecuador. This is a Chocó endemic. So when I mention the word Chocó, I explain Chocó. The meaning of Chocó is just so much rain. So the rainfall in the Mindo area or in the Northwest in general is over 3 meters a year. So this is the one of the specialties bird that we will see right now. Usually we have seen in the forest, but right now we have another reserve, Santa Rosa Reserve, that is close to our base in Mindo, in our lodge, that they start feeding, and the birds just start showing. So that is I think for us that's good because we visit, we support the local economy, and everybody will be happy. Another bird that everybody loves to see and is another favor, the Andean coco de rock. This is the national bird of Peru and is why it's spread from Venezuela, all the Andes, in the mountain cloud forest, all the Andes through Bolivia. In our trips, we visit the lake. So the lake is a place where the males go to display to attract females. Sometimes they copule there. Usually the breeding time for this bird is when it's dry season. But I am going to mention one thing. In Ecuador, we don't have seasons. Our seasons is raining cats and dogs and raining a little bit. So that's make so difference. This one start breeding in June, July, August. So September is time when we'll see the chicks. So that's another good bird to see in our trips. Of course, another small bird that also lacking is the cloud-winged manakin. We have some lakes close to the Mindo area, especially in Milpe Reserve. They lake there. This bird is amazing because they make the sounds with the wings, and it's unbelievable because this bird can move 100 times per second to produce 14 different sounds. So that's amazing to see. Also, this bird is only found in Ecuador and Colombia. It's another Choco endemic. Look at this torrent dog. You know, we have different rivers. This is a quite Mindo River, Papayacta River, where we can see this bird. It's not many pairs live around, but basically it is moving in a pair. The male, you will see the red bill, black and white. The female is all brown. Also, this is really pretty. And sometimes they feed in the crustas on the rivers. Right now, the people stop hunting. Before, the people used to hunt this bird to feed, but right now it's protected. So exactly, I don't know the population that we still have in Ecuador, and it's another bird that is quite widespread in South America. Another beautiful bird and another Choco endemic. This is a beautiful glistening green tanager. We visit another reserve, Amagusa Mashpi Reserve in the Northwest. That is a really most mountain cloud forest. It's over probably 14, no, it's at 4,000 feet, probably the altitude. That is the place that we really clean with all the Choco endemics. So there is a couple, they start a project in their property and they start feeding this bird. Plus this bird, I can mention another bird like Rufus throated tanager, mossback tanager, toucan barbet. So they are feeding. Is another, this bird usually moving a mixed flock, but for one reason, it tends to feed some bananas, and they are doing probably for now for 4 or 5 years now. And the project is increasing. They start feeding one purple quail dove. That's another Choco endemic. That's another hard bird to see, especially this one, the quail doves. They are ground birds. Another beautiful hummingbird. This is the velvet purple coronet. This is another Choco endemic. We will see in areas like Mashpi Amagusa, in our lodge, the Séptimo Paraíso. When we are doing the trip with drop, we focus in the west and the east. And this is one of the 65 hummingbirds that we will see in our trip. Usually when we cover the both sides, our list is over 500 species in 2 weeks. So that's amazing. Ecuador is a small country, but it's where you will see more species if we compare with our neighbors. Look at this one. I have been exploring a new places. So there is a new place, probably about 1 hour, 20 minutes from Mindo. There is another lake of this bird, long wattle umbrella bird. That is another Choco endemic. It's very restricted bird just find about probably 3,000 feet, a little higher or lower, is moving. Also, this bird has a lake. So 23 de Junio has a small reserve and is owned by the local community. So also, when we visit them, we support the local community and they take care of the forest because one of the problems for this bird is the habitat. We are losing the habitat so quickly. So, but if they can do something with the ecotourists, we will support every time we can travel. This was a lifer picture for me. This is, for me, this is one of the rare birds on the planet. The population of this brown goodriel is about only 1,000 birds and is only found in Ecuador and Colombia. There is a Rancho Suamox close to Pedro Vicente Maldonado. I mean, from Mindo is a 1 hour driving. The altitude will be probably 1,000 feet. And they just put the compost. And this bird starts showing in the compost. If you will see here, there's a passion fruit we call maracuya. And just basically is eating the passion fruit. So this is one of the new places that we add the trees will drop because this bird, we don't know how long it's going to survive because the habitat is losing so fast. I'm hoping the people, they have probably about 200 hectares, 200 hectares protecting. They are going to keep to protect this species plus other species. So we will have every time we visit these local communities and the birding style is changing in Ecuador, I say. You know, when I start birding, we were praying to see like an Ampita crossing or a glimpse of Tapaculo. But right now, we just go stay probably with a cup of coffee and enjoying the birds just around us. There was another sighting. People is feeding this white-throated crake. You know, crake, woodriels, right? They are really top birds to see. Top birds to see. But, you know, people are, you know, they have a good imagination how they start feeding or they are asking something. Actually, this bird is feeding the food for fish. So there's the owner of this Punto Ornitológico en Mindo is just 20 minutes from our lodge. They start putting some food for fish. And this bird came and start feeding. So and right now he's feeding every day. So and just to see a crake and take a picture like that, that is really awesome and will be part of our the next trips. Quetzals. You know, everybody loves to see quetzals. This is the crested quetzal. And this is the avocado tree that it was feeding. So this bird is, the range of this bird is on the Andean range from Venezuela through Bolivia. I photographed this bird last month because it was the avocado season. So it was quite really easy to see the crested quetzal and the golden-headed quetzal. Another hummingbird I really like it is the button racket-tail. This button racket-tail, this is from the eastern side because you will see the orange legs. In Mindo area, we have the white legs. So people are doing a research and probably they will split in two different species and they change for the racket-tail, probably they will call puff legs. They really, really have a nice puff leg. So that's another one of the 65 hummingbirds that we'll be seeing our trips. Look at this beautiful orange-breasted fruit eater. That is part of the Cotinga family. This is only found in Ecuador and Colombia. Also, the best place to see this species is in the Mashpi Amagusha. All the pictures that I am showing here have been taken in our trips. So we have a really great chance to see all the species that I am showing in this program. Blue-winged mountain tanager is quite fairly common birds, but it's pretty birds to see. Usually this one move around in the mountain cloud forest over probably 8,000 feet, moving a mixed flock. And this is one of the leader of the mixed flock. When I am talking about mixed flock, is where we will see different species of birds at the same time. It could be flycatcher, mountain tanagers, wood creepers, woodpeckers, but this one is the leader. So when this one make an alarm call, everybody disappear, but probably the mountain tanager have seen, a hog, a raptor, or maybe the frog is dangerous. So this is one of the leader that we will see, and it's quite fairly common in our trip in the west and the eastern sides. Another great place that we visit is Paz de las Ampitas Reserve. This Angel Paz is a legend because he started feeding this giant ampita. At the beginning, he didn't know what was this bird. And then he changed his life. He basically is focused now in protect forests and is feeding 5 species of ampitas and probably 6 if we can one scale ampita. This is the famous Maria and has the new chick. The new chick doesn't have a name yet. This is one of the rare birds and is only known from Colombia and Ecuador. So the range is very restricted. And is I don't know, nobody knows exactly how big is the population or how good is the forest to support a species like this one. But we will see in our trips. One of the species that it came, from Central America through Bolivia is the cute red-headed barbet. This one, red-headed barbet behavior is it moves with a pair, with a female most of the time together. Very rarely they share a mixed flock. Oilbird. This oilbird is a widespread bird. Most of the time the people have visited Ecuador and other countries in South America, they have visited Trinidad first. So in Trinidad, they have seen there, but I heard or somebody told me, you have to walk in the water with a flashlight and then you will see this bird. Ecuador, I have been guiding in also in the rest of South America, and I have seen this bird, but Ecuador is the country where you will see and photograph well, and is an easy walk. So that walk, everybody can do that walk. So that is one of the things that we have been checking for our trips, that everybody will enjoy these jewels like the old bird, and right now, probably Ecuador is the best country for birding and photographing because we have some accessible areas where we'll see the birds well and photograph. Right now, I am moved to the eastern side. I live the western side where was Mindo, and we start moving to the eastern side. So the eastern side, we start with Antisana volcano. Antisana volcano is 18,000 feet, 18,500 feet. That is the altitude. That is located in the Paramo. So the meaning of the Paramo is just pampas grass. One of the highland birds there is the Andean condor. Andean condor is the bird that breeds in the Antisana area because there are nice cliffs. Right now, close to the national park, we have a new reserve that called Chacana Reserve that is part of the Hocotoco Foundation. And they are doing a great job because they are finding a nest for the black-faced ibis, and also there is a roosting place for the condors. So this picture I took in the Chacana Reserve, that's part of the Hocotoco, where we have this bird just flying over our heads. So it was, it was really nice. We saw like 12 birds just flying overhead, and we have a really nice picture. And to see a condor that way is just really amazing. Ecuador has probably just 120 pairs, and the population is increasing of this bird because we have a nice area that is protected. Another bird that we will see in the Antisana National Park, that is a northern silver grebe. That is silver grebe. That is the only place in Ecuador that we will see this species. So they breed in the Mica Lake, and we are access to see this bird in the Mica Lake. So this is the giant hummingbird. That is the biggest hummingbird on this planet. It is close to 19.5 centimeters. Also is found in the Antisana National Park. There is one part is quite a little dry dry area in the Paramo. So, and there is another, it's a restaurant. They make probably now a lodge. So they put some hummingbirds feeder in Tambo Condor, and they are feeding this giant hummingbird now. When we are driving close to the Paramo, we have this plant. It calls the polylepis trees. This polylepis trees is called like Pepe forest. One of the birds that specialize in the polylepis is the giant hornbill. So the giant hornbill peel a little bark just to feed some insects here. That is very restricted in the polylepis forest, and the polylepis forest grow over 11,000 feet. When we got to the Papayacta Pass, we visit one of the part of the Cayambe Coca Reserve. We get about probably close to 15,000 feet to look for this beautiful bird, the rufous-bellied seed snipe. The rufous-bellied seed snipe is found in 2 locations in Ecuador. One is in the Chimborazo volcano, another is in the Cayambe Coca National Park. So also we have a little detour to look for these species. And really nice, it's really nice when we have a nice weather, because it's most of the time it's raining and sometimes we have snow there. The range of this bird is all the Andes range from Venezuela through Chile and part of Argentina too. Another rare bird that we'll see also in the polylepis forest is the red-rumped bush tyrant. This bird is more rare than the rufous-bellied seed snipe and probably more than the giant hornbill. Also, this one is specialized in the polylepis forest. Sometimes around Papayacta area, that is the area we visit in the trip, we look for this bird. Sometimes we have a distance view of, another times is a copper bird that we can see really well. So we are traveling a little lower down. We visit the San Isidro Lodge. That is a nice cabin that Rob will show you later. This is the white-bellied ampita. So this white-bellied ampita also is feeding at the lodge. But the most important when I am showing this picture is the range of this bird. This bird has a small range, just Colombia, Ecuador, and Bolivia. So you will see just in 3 countries, but I don't know in the other countries they are feeding, like in San Isidro, where we can see well. When we do this trip, the northern Ecuador we drop, we have a chance to see probably at least 10 or 12 species of these ampitas seen and well photographed. More hummingbirds, that is the chestnut-breasted coronet. That is quite a common bird that we will see, a common hummingbird that we'll be seeing in the Cabañas San Isidro is where we stay for a couple of nights. This is another rare bird. This is the Andean putu. In some of the lodges, like in San Isidro and Huango Lodge, the lodges that we stay, right now they are roosting. So if we travel tomorrow to Huango, we will see this bird. So they find a nice cecropia tree where it's roosting. So it is feeling safe. And probably this bird is, I'm guessing it's the same bird I saw in August, more or less, September, and just stay there. So when they find a place to roost, so they will just keep sleeping in the same tree. This is a common bird. It's widespread in the Andes from Venezuela through Bolivia. It's a mastrogon. This one was photographed in the gardens of San Isidro. That's a nice male. This is the mystery owl that we have about in San Isidro. This mystery owl, we don't know yet. The owner probably they don't told yet, but this is like an hybrid between the black banded and the black and white owl. But they are still doing a research. So that's why I call a San Isidro owl. Hoping the research and the work they have done, that it will be a new species for the science, because it is the black and white owl or the black banded owl somebody told me that it is a 70% of the black banded and 30% of the black and white, but they are not sure yet. And I'm hoping that could be a new species for the science too. This is a new, was a lifer photo for me, just I photographed last month. There is another reserve in the eastern side that is rufous-breasted good quail. This rufous-breasted good quail, I mean, all the good quails are top bird to see. When we can see something like this, and of course, in this new reserve, they are feeding, and they are feeding with yucca. And this bird is coming every morning. So that's amazing. We saw a pair of them, and the range for this bird is Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, and solo is a small range. Look at this. Well, this is another favorite hummingbird for me. This is a white-crested thorntail. That is the bird that we will see in the foothills, Ecuador, that we will see in our garden when we stay at Sumaco Lodge. Military macaws. Military macaws is a very rare in Ecuador, but Sumaco is one of the best places to look for this species. You know, the range of this bird starts in Mexico and all the way down South America to, I think it's also to get to part of Bolivia, I think. But the best place for us in our trip is to look for in Sumaco area. You know, also in our trip we have owling, but sometimes we do the owling in a daytime because we work with the local guys. So, and the local guys, they know where they roost. So they took the group and just in the forest to see this one. It was seen with the rope with the group where the local guy was showing next to the bamboo, and it's a little wet. Another beautiful bird that I really love, that is the paradise tanager. This is the bird that is really widespread in South America. The only country probably is not present is Chile, and we will see in the rest of the South America. And you have to see 7 color. When you will see 7 color, you have seen this bird. This bird usually moves in the mixed flow with the other tanagers, but that is one of my favorite to see in the Sumaco area. Another barbet, that is quite a fairly common gilbert barbet. You know, also this barbet is found in the foothills and in the lowlands. It's quite fairly common. This one was photographed from the veranda in our lodge in Sumaco. Right now, another thing, the lodges are putting some blinds and they put some light to attract moths at night. So in the morning, we will see some birds like this white-chested puffbird that is quite rare and very hard bird to see. So they came every morning to feed, to feed the moths in the morning. And plus another birds like white-backed far eyes, Peruvian warbling Peruvian warbling ambers, and others. Napo saffrewing. This Napo saffrewing is one of the rare birds that we will see, and you will see only in Ecuador and Peru. This saffrewing also came to the feeders around Sumaco. Before Sumaco, to see this species, it was, you know, like, oh my God, I have seen a really good chevrils. It's still a good bird to see because it's rare. But the meaning that I want to say is sometimes the feeders help to the population of these species to start growing out because hummingbirds, they don't have a breeding time. They breed when they have plenty of food to feed a chick. They can breed once, twice, or 3 times a year or none. This is another common bird in Sumaco. Also go to the blind to feed the moths in the morning, white-backed far eyes. This far eye has been split in 3 ways now. The gorgeted wood star, that is another rare hummingbird that will be seen in Sumaco. The range of this bird is we can see Colombia, Ecuador, and one part of Peru. So the range is very restricted to the foothills. And this was also is one part of the 65 hummingbirds that we will see in our trip. Amazing. So we leave a little part of the foothills and we are in the Amazon now. One of our target birds is the Rufus putur. So there is a reserve belongs to the Guarani community. So we visit them, and actually there are three territories where they roost. So we have a local guys, and also we support the local people there. In this case, the Guarani community. So that's one of the best places. I don't know, it is in South America the best place to see this bird because it's a little widespread. You will see the French Guiana, Guyana, Brazil, Colombia, Peru as well. But I think Ecuador is the best place to get these species. And of course, who wants to see the harpy eagle? This is the most powerful bird in South America. And there was a nest in the same area, the Guarani community. So right now in Limoncocha, close to this area in the Amazon, they find a nest of the harpy eagle, but the access is not so easy. And I will look for how is, the access and the logistic. Probably to see this harpy eagle, it was amazing. So it's another one of my favorite birds to see in the Amazon. I just add this bird. This is the banded grand cuckoo. This is the bird that it took me 10 years to see. And I saw this bird when I stopped chesting. And it was the amazing part was there was an army ant, they stationary for like 2 weeks. And this bird is one of the most rare on the planet. This rare was walking like chicken around the house. So, and everybody was running to see this bird. I included me. This is the new hummingbird found in Ecuador in 2017, and I'll do all the paperwork. And in 2018, they decided that is a new species. That is the blue-throated hill star that is found in the southern western Ecuador. The population, we don't know the population yet, but I have seen at least 3 males in that area in the Cerro Arcos where I photographed. And here I make a wrong thing. It was 3,748 species. So that was my bird, not 7,000. I wish it was 7,000. No, it's 3,748. And there are 2 more hill star. The Ecuadorian hill star, that is one of the common high elevation that we will see in the Antisana Reserve. And the Chimborazo hill star, that is very restricted in the central part of Ecuador in the Chimborazo volcano. So hoping people is doing a research. This one also could be a new species for design like was the blue-throated hill star. So at the end, when we see all these jaguars, we have a happy birders, So, Rob, I don't hear you, Rob.
All right, I'll take over from here. Can you end your share screen there, Edison?
Yep.
All right. So I'm just going to do a little bit here on Ecuador as well as the lodges that we visit, give you an idea of that, as well as some of the incredible scenery that you can see in the Andes in Ecuador. So, we talked about the high species of birds, 4th highest in the world, and that a 2-week trip can easily get over 500 species of birds. One thing Edison didn't mention is Ecuador has extremely good infrastructure, so it's easy to move around the country, which is one of the things that makes it significantly better than a lot of the other places in South America. Other places can be significantly more difficult to travel around. Ecuadorians are very friendly, love having visiting birders and naturalists in their country. As you'll see, there's a wonderful set of lodges that Edison mentioned most of, but I'll show some pictures of here. The lodges have phenomenal food. I think it's some of the best food of any of the countries that I visit. And because of the good infrastructure and being easy to move around the country, you get easy access to varied habitat zones. With their high mountains and down to the Amazon, down to the coast, it's very easy to move up and down in elevation, giving you a lot of different habitats. So Edison mentioned Septimo Paraíso over in Mindo. On the top there's just an overhead shot that you can see, and then a view of some of the habitat. Septimo is a wonderful lodge, one of my favorite places to stay in Ecuador. We also mentioned on the eastern side of the mountains that one of the lodges is called Guango Lodge. I consider Guango to be a very quaint, friendly, fun lodge to stay at. It's a lot smaller than many of the others. Yeah, so but one of my favorite places to stay, and great place to start on your way down through the eastern slope. We move on to Cabana San Isidro, another great lodge, only a couple hours down the road, down the mountain from Guango Lodge. As Edison mentioned, this is a great place for the white-bellied ant pitta. Great place to see that, as well as many, many other birds all around their property, as well as surrounding areas, and great views off of their deck and around their property. So beautiful views everywhere you turn. Then farther down really down into the foothills is Wild Sumaco, and Wild Sumaco it gives you really a great opportunity to get into very, very nice habitat while staying at a really nice lodge. It was built by a birder for birders, so it is very much a birding lodge, and that's pretty much who stays here. But that means they cater to us very, very well. And there's awesome views from there as well. The volcano down there at the bottom you can see, as well as in the picture on the left side of the screen, you can see a little bit of a snow-covered cap back there. That is Antisana that you can see all the way from down in the foothills. So pretty cool when that happens, and if the sunlight hits it right, that can glow really cool in the morning. Edison also mentioned Antisana up in the Paramo. So that's a little closer up view of Antisana like Edison had, as well as a little bit more of the habitat that you see when you're visiting Antisana. Very, very different than the cloud forest and Amazon type habitat that you were seeing in the other pictures. A couple more views. This is the lake that Edison talked about for the waterfowl, like the silvery grebe. And then just a nice view looking out over the entire grassland type habitat that's up there in the dry Paramo of Antisana. Another great place that Edison mentioned is Papajacta, and this is the place for the rufous-bellied seed snipe. You can tell this is a little bit different Paramo. This is more of a wet Paramo than Antisana, but just spectacular views from up there while you're looking for this really special bird. You know, you don't think of going to the tropics and needing hat and gloves, but we do always recommend it for this trip because it can be really cold and really windy up there. We've had lots of luck on our trips because we've had pretty nice weather, but I always have a hat on up there because it can get really quite cold. In town, when we get into Quito, we'd like to stay at a lodge that has a little bit of, or a hotel that has a little bit of property that we can do some birding on right as we arrive and before we leave. It's the San Jose de Puembo Garden Hotel. Wonderful place, close to the airport, great food, and really nice grounds to get an introduction to birds in the Central Valley there. And then just a little bonus, you can't really talk about Ecuador without mentioning the Galapagos. It's a dream destination for many people. This is my wife and I there a few years back. Obviously, people know about the giant tortoises there, but there's so much more for a visiting naturalist. You can see some of my group in the water with a Galapagos penguin swimming by, which who doesn't want to swim with penguins? That's pretty cool, right? And then just some different kind of habitat shots from the Galapagos, showing you how varied the islands really are. You can be up on a high flat cliff here with thousands of birds flying over. Every little dark speck you see in the sky here is a bird. You have cactus, you have volcanic area. It's really a neat set of islands. So can't really talk about Ecuador without making sure you mention the Galapagos. All right, so that is all we have for you. I will mention that over here on the right, we'll leave the screen up here for a couple minutes. These are all of our upcoming trips with Edison. Most of what was covered today was the trip of the Northern Andes. Also, our Week in Paradise trip is very much like the Northern Andes trip, but it only covers the Mindo West Slope area. So if you're looking for a little bit shorter trip, that's a great option. And then our other trip down here is for the South. and totally different set of birds, and really a neat place to visit as well. So take a look at that, and we'd love to have you join us when everything gets back to normal here in the world post-COVID. And does anyone have any questions? For some reason, my screen shared. Let's see. Someone says that my slides before Guango weren't showing. Is that right? Okay, I can pop those back up here real quick from the beginning. So this was I covered most of this via speaking. This was Septimo Paraíso, a nice shot of the overhead of the lodge here down in the valley, as well as kind of some of the habitat here on the drive-in. And that's what we missed there. So just a couple little things. Were you able to see it that time? Yeah, okay. So just a couple little things that we missed. Let's see. I know that someone up at the front asked, and I'll have asked this to Edison. What's your favorite Ecuadorian endemic bird?
Right now, I love hummingbirds. That is the blue-throated hill star.
Very good.
Yeah, the hill star, they are really nice birds. I mean, really nice hummingbirds to see. Really nice. Is they feed in this orange flower, the Chukirawa ones, and just to live over 15,000 feet, start breathing at night. So that's make different. Right now,
that's a great one. It's hard to not have the newest endemic be the favorite.
I guess it's hard to choose,
It is.
But now the moment is that one.
Good. Yeah, tomorrow it might change.
Probably, yes.
Let's see. So we had a question of what is the travel like between habitat from the lodge? Is it small roads overlooking scary cliffs? Overall, not really. No. Sometimes some people get a little bit nervous on the road down between the lodges on the eastern slope, but overall it's a very good road, and we take it nice and easy. It's not like some of the roads in the world you've heard of, like if you've heard about the Manu Road in Peru, that's a nail-biting road, but what we do in Ecuador is not really. And I know one of our previous clients on this tour is on the call, and Ted was shaking his head no, that the roads aren't too bad. So confirmation from someone else that's been there. Any other questions?
Yeah, and actually when we got to the lodges, just we move is short distance and no bad roads,
Yeah, very good infrastructure in Ecuador. Anyone else have any questions? Doesn't look like it tonight. Edison, thank you for joining us. This has been really fantastic. Thank you all for being here this evening. We are really enjoying putting on these programs and hope that you'll join us for more as we go forward. Next week, Jamie is going to be presenting on Costa Rica with a camera, talking about a trip she just recently did down there, and an area that we'll be setting up some photo tours to in the future. And then you can always keep track on our website and on social media for other programs that we're putting on, as well as any tours coming up as you get ready to travel whenever it's safe again. So thanks for coming out, and have a great evening.
Good evening, and please stay safe and keep healthy, and we hope to see you soon. I hope to see you soon, everybody.
Thanks, Edison and Rob. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Great program.
Thank you. You're welcome.